art of letting go is something I thought I was very familiar with. Not that it has ever been an easy or desired activity, but it is often, if not always, a must. It has to be done. I haven't decided, if it matters, how it's done. However, the art of letting go comes in when I realize why I must. The breaking of my own heart, knowing that letting go takes away the hope of hopes. It takes away the hope of hoping, or perhaps the comforting sting of remembering. Sometimes even the contentment of the acknowledgement itself. As I walk into the complete unknown, all the while holding myself up away from dark places, as the abyss of some acceptance of what cannot be. The odds of either way are against me. Instead, I look for the positives, if you could even call it that, and I no longer wait. I do something different. I fill in the gap, the piercing hole with other life-invigorating hopes, activities, or maybe faith. The faith I am always talking about. But this faith is in desperation. On the flip side, it's the dreary days that bring the dreary stories. No matter how I avoid these heavy thoughts, perhaps it would do me well to cleanse my soul of these burdens. The weight of what I cannot control or change. But how do I lay down both my future and my past to be invisible? How do I lay down the unlikeliness of bearing more children so that I can retain myself alive long enough to mother the sole miracle I was granted with? How do I lay down the loss of a father I just reconciled? How do I release and let go? Answers may be a myriad of options, but none ever really filling the gap, never really satisfying the pain of longing. Leave it at the foot of the throne, that's what they say. And so faith and desperation is what I'm not holding on to. But perhaps that thinks me ungrateful. But it's hard to move on when I'm still searching, still going back to find my dad, still looking for the path ahead, missing my dad's honorable love for the Mets, wondering if there will ever be someone que me muestre un amor sin tener que separarme. It's the art of finding and standing in the in-between. If you think I've come with some enlightened reprieve, well, the only thing I can offer is that wisdom and grace are found in grief. And to hide longings in the most secret corners of your life.
Of that process, I feel it's still blooming, but I want to share it. New shit! Crystal is shedding. One, I am that New Eurekan poet. Greatest weakness, procrastination, with its conjoined twin, doubt. One body, two-headed beast infiltrates waking dreams, not the gnarly figure one imagined, very demure, very mindful. Not to appear gruff, holding her phone in one hand, her purse in the other. You know, that one that has just enough room to hold the generational traumas that are tethered to the traditional gender roles, that are wrapped with societal opinions and cradled with colonialism and white oppression. Yeah, that one. It's a small bag. It goes with everything, quite easy to conceal, seems to be in fashion. We learn to fold these up tight and make them fit in an effort to make us fit. But I'm fucking busting at the seams. 2, raindrops sliding down the window pane, subtle, slow, as skirt slides past waist, hip, and bone. Another all-nighter of work, of some play, some connection, always trying to pack it all in. Never a 24th hour, more like the 36s. Now, dropping that away, exposing skin to the crispness in air, lending a jolt of new day, energy to her core. It shoots up spine, creativity erect, espresso shot reminder that the new day stirring is mine. In the sanctuary of Wallace's Ave, body waves, sachets in sun rays, beginning to peer through the sheerness of raindrops delicately waltzing, welcoming its wet or heat. 3. Papi, sentado al frente de St. James, siempre con una historia en la boca y en los ojos, guayabera azul claro, como las aguas de Boquerón, o un color cremita, como un cafecito bien calientito, con leche condensada, pesada, como su acento, como sus memorias, como sus remordimientos. Estos pensamientos del jíbaro de Bayamón, que se mudó al barrio de Nueva York en los 1957 a los 18 años, sabiendo nada, pero tratando a ganárselo todo. Puede ser que todo se ha hecho a mierda, pero a él no se le nota, porque sigue cerrando los ojos para ocultar lo que se le apareció al frente y aguantar lo que sí quiere en la oscuridad de soñando despierto. 4. Eye to eye, shivers in esophagus. Is that the lie living in your throat? Begging to get out, or rather be swallowed, salvaged, baffling how someone so prolific on the page can become mute when his heart is questioned in real time. Is one better than the other? Say nothing, letting assumptions devour the surrounding ether. Say something, just anything to shift the tone in our bedroom, just anything. Make my ears hear a valid reason for you breaking this heart. 5. Letting go, hard to do, standing in, toes connecting to ancestry within Luquillo sands. Granules I rarely get to see, but the feeling is always there. The sugary grit seeped in between my teeth and dissolving in my Spanglish tongue. Clenched eyes with relaxed fists help me hold the holy vision whilst cradling my heart chakra oscillation. Stress, worry, disintegrate, dissipate in Caribbean breezes, scattering the crystallized molecules that make up all of me. I am deconstructed to reach out further. The more released, the stronger my grasp to hold. 6. I want to reconnect with the fearless, the daring heart, like toddlers, baby feet, pitter-patters, feet to tapping, tippy-toeing, 10 reasons to be wondrous. Sweetness on maple, loving raspberries placed on the soles of newly born feet, drunkenly touching hardwood floors, the cold varnish exciting. Shining allure of the 12 paces that lie ahead to reach the forever, spinning, whirling, searching for the balance. Yeah, a little Disney, but I'm still managing a gentle smile. Hard falls on backsides will happen, but still be able to gaze up from the oak, hopeful, happily, at the onlookers as they trudge past, messily spilling their quickness to judge. But that is part of the fearless. They get up, 10 toes down, all de corazón, not caring whatsoever what they may think, because these feet were crafted to run. These toes to twiddle and tickle in freshly laid concrete pavements, muddy waters, salty shorelines, echoed forests, and fairy tales. To far-off lands, to the bodegas on the block, to create sparks, to perform in limitless possibilities. Crafted to run, traverse miles, where many believed I'd barely walk one.
Give it up for Kneeco, Hanton. Yes, I use the full name. Keep clapping till Kneeco gets to the mic. One tall Puerto Rican problem. Right.
I get it from my parents. All right. I don't know if I'm using mic, but I've never passed an opportunity to do this on the mic. It's time for my sound check. I'm from the Bronx, so give me a yer. Yeah! No soy boricua, so dime so I would be remiss if I did not take the time to thank the comrades and take back the Bronx from being at the event today in the reading. Forgive me because I am not getting reception down here, so I cannot pull up the flyer, but on Saturday, January 25th at the Bronx Arts Space, they will be having an event with speakers and also with cultural work. So if you follow them on Instagram, you'll be able to get that flyer, so make sure you do that. I also wrote this poem similar to my beloveds in the workshop as inspiration to Lucille Clifton's Move. It's a trend that the organizers was feeling that way. So I wrote this poem about a situation that had happened back in September with some bomberes, folks in Puerto Rico who play bomba, which is a very sacred style of music in Guayacán, who experienced harassment in Ponce by police officers and also, white supremacists in the community. And so on Saturdays, the Isabel Albizu Davila School of Bomba and Plena hold classes inside the Carmen Sola Cultural Center of Pereira. This early September, the school was engaged in the first bomba activity to occur at the center in months. The bombasco moved from the center to Teatro La Perla in response to a noise complaint call made by the police. This transition to a different location did not deter harassment from a racist aggressor who berated the community members with bigotry and threats to annihilate them, nor did it deter the reappearance of municipal police who returned with larger weapons that served no other purpose than support the aggressor by intimidating and suppressing the community members engaged in bomba. The aggressor is part of the family of dismissed ex-judge Mario Valentin Vidal Sáenz, who is responsible for prolonging and delaying the case of the toxic ashes in Peñuelas, and this family had been spending years harassing the Isabel Albizu Davila School of Bomba and Plena. So this poem is about their harassment. Whispers carrying the wind, and like seed of a dandelion, they germinate. If they can find their way to Philly, if they can move, they will find their way to Ponce, claiming roots y propagar Ponce, growing in number, growing in volume, as utterances become a language the body rejects, not as an allergy, but as a commonly unwanted substance. Not as in being rubbed the wrong way, but as in back the fuck up off me, to the ones whose voices coalesce como las cenizas en Peñuelas y conspiran contra las imágenes negras, to say that black is dangerous, that black must be removed, and returning to finish the job. And so they call on a firing squad. They've killed in Ponce before, in Rio Piedras not once but twice, in Cerro Maravilla too, if you can believe it, all to remind us of the Mayoral. All while Isabel y Carmen remember, une que toca la bomba con memoria, will seek a way to free us all. The bate persisted, con yuba, impulso y tres, piquetes marked in the face of 3 weaponized officers. La bate persisted, ritmo in stride, repiques more in tune than the whispers that have now become tantrums. Descendants decide to take up their ancestors, prepared to do as they did. En un dique país de las tres fucking razas, show them the points that make this pyramid. It's clear to see who thinks they're on top. Thank you.
I feel like the energy's flagging just a tad. Give it up for Kneeco! Yeah. Okay, next up, contraband. That's why I started writing it inside walking. Just fuck that. Contraband. Every day I break the law. Distribution of contraband. Watch, ring bearing Sankofa. My name, my telephone number. My arrogance read as education. My education read as punishment. A sentence, a complete thought. Every day I break the law. Distribution of contraband, water, food, car keys with buttons, an email address, pen and paper and prayer rugs, discarded writings, college papers, mother's photo, family, neatly folded on a cell desk, 4 draft bags, broken oral bones, letter of intent to sue. Every day I break the law, distribution, contraband, the defendant's rights, speedy trial, equality before the law. An attorney I cannot recommend lest they cancel my students' education. Violence I cannot name lest they cancel my students. Every day I break the law, distribution of contraband prohibited. What is contraband? There's a new list every day, which does not include commissary items. You are permitted 1 phone call at the time of arrest, and someone will collect on your behalf. Corecraft, Jegepe, every day I break the law is contraband. Vodka in a Poland Spring bottle, grilled cheese pressed against the reading lamp, hacksaw blades in North Country summer, love on the block locked on both ends, no quarrel carried out on a grievance form. Here's how this works. You can say you fell in 3 places, broke your rib on a sink, or we send you to Attica. Every day I break the law. They got me on distribution, intent to distribute, manslaughter, 2nd, assault with a deadly weapon, impersonating a police officer. I got you, no worries. I'll let you slide this time. Every day I break the lawless distribute contraband, regardless of the prisons built across our landscapes, built to move bodies, built to move immigrants. Every day I break the laws back. I break back the contraband to break silence.
It's called human cost. Capitalism teaches self-interest, laissez-faire, peak colonial schema, rotten to the core. It grasps our throats, suffocating, disheartening. Watch the groupthink carry the propaganda, shift the population right, move. Across the world, human lives perish under the finger of a ghost in the shadows, who swipes the trigger, who surveyed the land. The olive trees once swayed in the wind, timid of the warning. The land remembers its people. Move. The women curl their fingers in protest around the cold, gray beyond. Liberation, or another path in the palm of their hands, reclaiming their bodies, or a surrender to themselves. They spill blood onto the earth, returning, move. The children's hands are covered in mineral while they excavate the earth. Tears and sweat mix, melting into the ore. The deep sun witnessing them sinking, they fall into the earth, move. If you find yourself in a system sacrificing others' rights in search of your own, if you find yourself unable to empathize with people across the sea, humans who are mothers, children, fathers, move away. It was written after Lucille Clifton's move. I forgot to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey y'all, how y'all? Hey. Okay? Yeah. I'm a bit nervous. Here we go. This poem is called "This Black Girl Living the American Dream." I cannot breathe with knowing I'm surrounded by people who are pro-lifers but don't support pro-life when it comes to people who look like me. Surprised I am not. Tired, yes. Hope and faith, there is no room when time and time and time and time and time again this country has given us nothing to believe in. But in the same breath, says my voice matters. But then it's too busy using me as an excuse and then as an example. Time and time and time and time again. I am tired. We are tired. But damn it if I say it and damn it if we show it. How do we move forward on a road that was made by us but was never really made for us? I wonder. Yet my mind seems to already know the answer. I wonder, when did the silence become louder than the screaming, the needing and the pleading and the wanting to be heard? Heard enough, but not enough for change to actually happen. Not enough for young Black boys and young Black girls to be safe. Not enough for women to be safe. Not enough for those who are supposed to protect us to actually protect us and not kill us. I cannot breathe. I cannot breathe. I cannot breathe. I cannot breathe with being surrounded by these pro-lifers but don't support pro-life when it comes to people who look like me. Thank you.
They were together at Columbia at the same time. So, there's a Q&A coming up. You might want to ask about that. Give it up for Felix Cortez.
Poetry is in good hands. Thank you. Bueno, yo vengo aquí colado. I'm actually snuck in here. It's Victor's gig, and he asked me to accompany him to read something. I'll introduce myself. My name is Felix Cortez. When I was 18, I came across mimeograph poems. A certain Victor Hernandez Cruz was circulating. And he was about my age and had attended Benjamin Franklin High in El Barrio. I got excited. He was a fellow New York Puerto Rican poet, term New York Rican wasn't yet widely circulating, who spoke from, to, and for us. We soon met at Pedro Guerri's place. That was 56 years ago. Our friendship and discussions about poetry when everything else under the sun started back then. Now he's invited me to this reading. I've written almost all my life, but my last public reading was from those early, exciting, pregnant days. Today I'll read two short poems, one about us, our species, and one about me growing up, born in Puerto Rico and raised in these Nueva York's. Humanity. I spin and spin in the cosmic circle of energy, matter, and life. I dream and dream with the mystery of probing, piercing, conscious light. Oh, thought, matter, turning energy into inner eye. Intelligent breath, heart's caress, humankind. From stuff and fire and organism to community, thought, and love, we've come. Only together can we truly be. Cosmic circle to collective heartbeat. Only together. Alone, we drift back to stardust. Right? That was a species. This is me. In the beginning, there was the light. From my earliest memory, what looms and envelops is the light, saturating and blinding, warming and reassuring, revealing and guiding, with its life-charging pulse. These were the beginnings. Small furnished room, a crib bathed in luminescence, a cosmic tunnel of light flooding through the window, the suspended particles of dust, so many dancing worlds alit, minuscule projections of the giant orbs beyond. It's an intimate memory with the palpable feel of having been lived, but I see it from outside myself. I'm not yet two, upo, yet unborn. Another flashback resolves through mommy's eyes. I pull up the chair to just under the hammock cradling the newborn upo. I climb up, stretch my body, reach with my head, looking to knock him off my hammock. Bad enough having to share mommy, but soon I defend him against little would-be bullies. Other reminiscences unfold, bathed in daylight, play down the street scenes like going down a midtown sidewalk. I goggle in awe at the lost peaks of skyscrapers piercing a clear blue sky. Mommy, self-conscious, barks at me from under her breath to stop staring like a wonder-struck hick. Caramba! A summer day of 1957, our block in the barrio, flushed in daylight and alive, tops, marbles, and spaldings bouncing off stooped step edges. Strolling down 116th, heartbeat of the barrio's marqueta, perusing the wares, Puerto Rican mothers haggle with Jewish merchants in the time-honored tradition of working people. Family country outings to upstate Las Villas or El Ducos, grooming and training racehorses in New Jersey. Lucid August skies, embracing life-affirming green, nostalgic snatch of the island. Later, finding myself, the 5-mile mid-afternoon treks between home and Times Square, brisk pace, youthful, intimate reflection. Memory's daylight is especially brilliant, tinged in affection, stories, and warmth. Its glow from the past yet reaches us, covering us in our first innocence, our earliest sense of wonder when everything was new. dawn of my infancy, engulfed me for a suspended moment in the memory of first life. Newborn wonderment, bright emerging life, oh pulsing, dazzling radiance. Thank you.
Someone that we honor because it is a list that we make, but someone who is very much present and in our midst, right? So Victor Hernandez Cruz was born on February 6th in 1949 in the small mountain town of Aguas Buenas, Puerto Rico. Yes, Aguas Buenas in the house. Louisette Resto is somewhere in Los Angeles also crowing because she's also from Aguas Buenas. He moved to the U.S. in 1954 with his family, attended high school in New York City, began writing at the age of 15. As he explained, quote, to balance a lot of worlds together, the culture of my parents and the new and modern culture of New York, its architecture, its art, and its fervent intellectual thought. His first chapbook was published in 1966. It is called Papo Got His Gun from Calle Once Publications, followed by his first full-length collection of poetry, Snaps, right? A legendary book. 1970s, Hernandez Cruz lived in the Bay Area where he emerged as a distinctive voice in the Nuyorican School of Poetics. Much of his work explores the relationship between the English language and his native Spanish, playing with grammatical and syntactical conventions within both languages to create his own bilingual idiom. That is keeping in the tradition of Sterling Brown, that is keeping in the tradition of American poets who invented, quote unquote, the American idiom. The American idiom has a lot of different idioms, right? And Spanglish is the latest one to come. And if English can evolve from, the wartime of the Norman invasion, we can evolve the language just by being our beautiful and unique and perfect selves. 14 collections of poetry, including Guayacán, which is here, published by Ishmael Reed Publishing in 2022. If you don't know who Ishmael Reed is, go find out. Beneath the Spanish, In the Shadow of Al-Andalus, The Mountain in the Sea, and Maraca New and Selected Poems, 1965 to 2000, which was shortlisted for the Lenore Marshall Poetry Prize. Earlier works include Panoramas, Tropicalization. He is also an editor of the anthology Paper Dance 55 Latino Poets from Persia Books in 2000. Other honors include fellowships from the Guggenheim Foundation, the National Endowment for the Arts. He is a co-founder of the East Harlem Gut Theater in New York, the Fort Columbus Foundation, and is a former editor of what? Umbra magazine. One of the Umbra writers? There you go, you found it, right? He has taught at the University of California, Berkeley, University of California, San Diego, San Francisco State College, University of Michigan. He may have taught a class or two at Lehman. I'm just saying. He will serve as the guest editor of Poem a Day this month in December. Hernandez Cruz lives in Morocco, which is not the Bronx. But, today Morocco and the Bronx are united, and we are here to celebrate. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Victor Hernandez Cruz. Just going to set him up here at the Distinguished Poets Podium.
Yeah.
Okay, get out your way.
Familia, mi, toda Hani, por un funeral, y esa gente, mi prima, se han volvido locas, me tienen la comida. Me han dado sofrito con todo, y me han engordado un poquito. Bueno, when I get back home, she's getting close to Ramadan, so I do the Ramadan with my family. My family is Muslim. My kids, I have a son, Mohammed Amin, who's 21 now, and my daughter Maria is 11. So I still take her to school in the mornings. We are a multilingual family because first language is Spanish, because even though la mujer mía, Amina, she studied Spanish in the Centro Cervantes de Rabat, so she speaks good Spanish, better than me sometimes. She learned from the Spanish to speak Espanol. And so we had our house is the basis in Spanish. We sometimes co-speak with French, but the sub-language in Morocco is Arabic. The main language is Arabic, and then French is the sub-language. En español hablan en inglés de parte. North, the Tetuán area, hablan español, mucha gente rural, en español, pues the radio, we get the Spanish stations right through the radio. And the Spanish television stations come right through also. And so we are a multilingual family. En un momento estamos hablando español, árabe, Kuchi language. Well, I want to share some poetry with you. And bueno, I have to tell you que hace tiempo que vengo tocando, cantando, escribiendo mi poesía. I declare myself a poet in 1965, and somehow we borrowed the mimeograph machine of the Venice Street Clock Association. It's for those leaflets out to the big housing movement in New York, where the red stripes were going on in the 60s. And we have a mimeograph machine. Have you heard of a mimeograph machine?
Yeah.
You've heard of it. But many people don't know what it is. And so we got that machine and we made a cover ourselves, and we did this horrible looking book. All that is done. We put it out ourselves. It was summertime. We had to open up the windows and that toxic ink was getting us dizzy. And that we were churning that stuff up. We put it together, we stapled it, and we took it out, distributed it to all the bookstores ourselves. So I come from scratch. We started from scratch. We walked the streets, went to the 8th Street bookstore, put it there, East Side bookstores, a few other bookstores in the town there, and we kept doing that. Somehow Fred Jordan from Evergreen magazine, Evergreen Review, got a hold of a copy of it, and he called me up, just wanted to spread my work in photography. And so I got into Evergreen Review with those poems that were mostly street poems in a very immediate local language. I kept reading and growing, and reading was my education. I don't have no academic background, but the books themselves. And the books suggested other books, other writers, and I kept reading over the years. And I've been able to go into institutions as a teacher based on what I've written. And not
Así.
Yo era un títere de la calle.
Vaya.
I don't have to say about my friends. Many of them are gone, and many stories of tragedies. They killed gang style in the 70s. Friends. Hoy en día están en Attica or CDC or whatever. Maybe a few friends, Chino, Davis, Albino, Willie, who are made it out somehow and are doing okay. And joined 2 or 3 of that crowd. Anyway, I want to Fatima Marnisi, Moroccan feminist writer, she said that writing is a form of prayer. Today, we come to the mosque, come to the church. Hallelujah, we heard poetry, and that filled our souls. Writing is a form of prayer, and listening to words is a form of prayer. So we're really blessed. Bendiciones, folks. poems, but I have not read them in a while. But I want to start 10 years, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Hot thought. Give me agua. Bebo más agua que un palo de aguacate. Mi abuela decía, muchacho, tú me amas que un papa bajado. The idea that something called the greenhouse effect is at work enhances when you Caribbean and compass. Will it get any hotter in the valley of Caguas just for an instant of thought Calderón? Or suddenly more yet Cuomo, where they say it never rains. Even ice in the freezer loses its stance. Is it going to get hotter than a mid-October Ponce afternoon? Will we reach the point where our flesh tenderizes and slowly cooks in the air? Will we see our skin slide off our bones as we walk across the plaza, making a last attempt to get the ice cream vendor before they both melt? So you hear that stuff in the Caribbean, the earth is warming up. So, okay.
Say what?
I won't get any hotter than this. Wonder about it. Another poem we have for an environmental poem. The face without makeup. Pictograph this. If we woke up one day, let's say tomorrow, and all the oceans were dried up, every last drop, you can go out and walk on the beds of the oceans, stare into the swirls of new landscape. The whole visual for eye and telescope, binoculars catch the sight of 1 trillion tons of sea creatures doing the dirt of octopus and whales, shark and sardine down there sunbathing, posted as if in a fish market. They could see that the earth is not round, that it's more like clay, fashioned by Salvador Dali. Hernandez. You know, Rafael is a great composer in Puerto Rico, and he Aguadilla, his town, and I wrote his poem some time back. I always wonder about Rafael. Well, it's not a criticism; it's an observation. Él dice en su famosa canción Lamento Bolincano que tiene la sangre española, el canto bravío del indio también, y se olvidó algo, está en su espejo, que lo veía todos los días.
That's right.
He forgot, you know that, you know? He forgot his blackness. He was a black man, big number, in 1920s Puerto Rico, but he would not mention that, you know. Otherwise, he's a great writer, composer. He composed one of the great boleros of the Americas, all the trios Panchos, trios San Juan, all the trios in the world, in Latin America, sing his songs. Anyway, born through sacrifice of Aguadilla, North Coast Puerto Rico, in being light to the balcony of a modest wooden house, with the cooperation of the wind through a side street, list the skirts of sirens who have walked out of the sea onto the plaza so near, wearing Antonian, Atlantean seashells for earrings, Raphael saw them magnify everything twice, the charcoal circles of their eyes becoming the light of his songs. Island beauty, insight, resonance of the guitar. With words he saw the way, the mountains themselves, creator's eyes. It was not by chance the place of birth, pinpointed the tropical night, composer of sound, the birds like bells of glass, the people in the lyrics, the hands in the landscape, the ox walks through the rim of his eyelids, cinema through the lips. When he left for other lands, he took the trees with him, put rivers into his pockets, condensed amapolas into his pores, suitcase full of fruit. He's sitting in Harlem, in the barrio, listening to Caribbean birds. Congolese rhythms came to his barachas. Conchitas of his youth danced with him for him in Mexico. They scaled the pyramid walls, dancing plenas and bombas for Quetzalcoatl. On 116th Street, he saw a guaraguao fly over a cane field. Rafael wore his hat in poetic meters, coplas, décimas, and declamated art with strings. He traveled ragtime jazz with Jim Europe's band, soldiers in Paris improvising through danza cadence. With strings, with what sings in the Americas passes through his filters. His home was all the countries on the tropical bolero. Pan mestizaje like Bolivar's invitation. Like Dante and Cervantes, his lyrics reached toward an impossible love, an odyssey, a yearning to touch, our dreaming, awake. Yusuf Girl was also his nation. Each lyric points to the map, the impossible yet necessary creation, the countryside coming to the cities like made his songs, gestures in the gardens where flowers dance with drought, dry in the mirrors of history, in the epoch of his rhymes, in the movement of Rafael with the lull of Diaz for civilization, full of a place without legitimacy, false authority, beautiful without insignias, a green mineral floating upon blue waters, a pebble of Mother Earth, a womb, a nation becoming, in his words, giving birth to the children of eternal liberación. There is always singing doo-wops. He's always singing. He's always singing. And he used to love doo-wop. And this is for the group known as the Hot Tones. You remember that? Hot Tones. They're from the 50s. They were actually African-American group, and they have one Puerto Rican guy in that group. That was a doo-wop that was coming out in the 50s and 60s. Had Puerto Rican participation, and also Frankie Valli and the Teenagers had some Puerto Ricans in it too. And so, the Hot Tones by David Henderson. I want a Sunday kind of love. When yet a child, I felt the course of the city. I felt the content of the wind. Whatever makes bricks harmonize, the clatter of the street feet, sweaters and color of raspberries zipping down basement chambers. It looked like gumbo. The gathering of esqueletos, leather coats and hats in the dark, fine slow movements in red light, not far, the Williamsburg Bridge. Suspense between Brooklyn, where at the Fox Theater, sleek guys with corduroy shoes and the new guys of conservatives visit to lay the cake, call out Little Anthony and the Imperials. The ballerinos dance with their dead depths in the shadows of the balcony. Acapella was affordable now. The studio, the echo of the hallways, tenements for housing projects, dreamers will be chanting all night long, to finger snaps. This was the invisible inner city, shadows and doo-wop. Did you ever have Coney Island Baby, Pier 13, the Himalaya ride? On the boardwalk, sway like waves to the harp tones, the shrine of Saint Cecilia, tonalities of black Boricua ears, framed in velvet melt. They bring back pictures of streets, whistles, schoolyards in Palace. The first fingers in the bush, shoe shine, and satin jackets folded and held in the arm on a horizontal slant, while the eyes scoped the distant avenue sizzled what bushel in the land sofas to cook. The hard tones took more space, had more base, snow, honey, amber spilling from the roofs. Shoe shuffling and bringing circular designs out on the linoleum, quiet, nervous skirts, exhibiting these, the new sensation of girls, their summer backs, exploring through sweaty fingers, the crackling of air pockets, of the triplets tumbling in their mouths, aspiring tongue kisses. Were they singing on the water, or was it horse that was doing bass, or was it a horse doing bass? The depth was essential as scratching the bones and grind, where all the sound and the figures produced, where has all the sound, that sound, and the figures it produced gone to? Where did the sharp onslaught of reality take them? I see streets and dreams that bring back the harmony, the mountain, the moments of passage, rituals of initiation, and it is always a Sunday kind of love.
Work and the work of your contemporaries, but I'm curious to know who you were reading before the first book came out.
I started writing in the 60s, in época, there was no such thing as a New York movement at the time. And I read some James Baldwin very early on. I read Richard, one of my favorite books, Richard,
Right?
Right, yes.
You're right.
And Blackwell, you read Blackwell?
Yeah.
Read the original version, because there was a version that was edited. But if you find the original version, it's a great book. And it's a great American book, you know, his piece about, well, he mentions his white-looking grandmother, and he was walking with her, and people were looking at them, wondering what relationship they had, you know. It brings that brings it home to the Caribbean, to how we are as a people. That we're all mixed. And we're all my own grandmother was African, Mulata, Tina Velasquez.
I'm sorry, let me just do this really quick so the folks can hear.
Ella se llama Agustina Velázquez, mi abuela. Y, ella freía bacalaíto con guineos verdes y alcapurrias. Las vendía mientras mi abuelo, un bohemio, hacía tabacos, era tabaquero. Y yo me pasaba metido en el chinchal, que es donde hacían los tabacos, cuando era niño. Y youth singer, y él se murió con una guitarra en la mano. Pues pisó un cajo de esos públicos que antes decían pist coffee. Se cogí. During Christmas period. Y la killed. Porque él era bohemio, le gustaba con caña, era bien fuerte. Como los dominicanos le llaman amajuana. Entonces, pero para ella no nada. Y eso estaba perdido, y también, pero perdieron sus huesos al final. Perdieron sus huesos, el del cementerio público perdió. Y en la cuadra, it was like que siempre está perdido. But he heard, little scratch, Snoop se iba a cantar con el grupo. And appeared next time over, mountain slopes and house of wood painted pink, cantando su I Little Pie. Pues mi abuelo. Entonces, ¿cómo se pronuncia?
It's a very natural sort of like transition from Richard Wright to La Familia, the Guido Scratch. That's kind of the point.
Yeah, I read Leroy Jones. His name was still Leroy Jones.
Back then.
Back then, yeah. Because I met Leroy Jones in the 60s. I went with Ishmael Reed and David Henson. We went to Spirit House in New York to see a production of this company play that he was putting on. And we met him there. It was 69 or 68, 9 and 20 about that period. But it's interesting to meet Leroy Jones. I've been reading his book. That lecturer, which is one of my favorite books of poetry, that lecturer has geometric and it's a jazz kind of influence book. And he changed, his poetry changed after he became political. I like that position that he was in when he wrote that lecturer. He wrote Essays on the Home, a collection of his essays. When he wrote Blues People, history of African American music in the States. So it's good to meet him at that point.